I want to thank Christy Ambrosi, a 2000 gold medalist in softball. Nice hand for her for leading our Sunflower Ambassadors in. And Dinsdale Morgan competing twice for Jamaica in the 96 and 2000 Olympics as a hurdler. We have an Olympic theme this morning. You may have noticed one difference. Ours was a little bit shorter and a lot less costly than London. We're on a budget here, but I think you catch our drift as we celebrate another terrific school year, wrapping up the summer and starting a new school year. Let's all please stand now, and the Blue Valley Northwest Howland Huskies will provide the national anthem for us. Thank you, Howland Huskies. We appreciate your help this morning. One of the fun things about this breakfast, of course, please take your seats, is the talent that we bring in every year. So thank you for getting up bright and early. And thank you, too, for leading the opening ceremonies here on stage. I appreciate it. I've actually shaken hands with Olympians. That's pretty cool. I do have a quick bone to pick. And this Olympic theme thing. I work for Fox. For 3 weeks, I disappeared. I had as many viewers during the Olympics as this table right here. Not that any of you were watching, of course. It was a trying 3 weeks for those of us that didn't have NBC as our network affiliation. But, having said that, it was a lot of fun, and we're going to celebrate that spirit this morning as we wrap up our summer of our time. Now, let's stick to the Olympic theme. I think that's probably a better idea. Just between you and me. We're all big Royals fans, but we're talking Olympics this morning. And we're going to celebrate that and keep that theme going by making a couple of introductions here. I'd like to introduce Jordan James, who actually couldn't be with us this morning. He's a West grad, Blue Valley West grad, a senior at the Juilliard School of Arts in New York City. He played the French horn with the Royal Academy of Music Classic Musical Festival at the Olympic Games this year. He couldn't be here this morning, as we mentioned, he's in school, but his parents, Mary Ann and David, are here, and we'd ask them to stand and enjoy a round of applause for their son. And for those of you who weren't watching me at 9 o'clock, you were probably watching a young lady by the name of Shannon Freeland. She's a Blue Valley West 2010 grad, part of the U.S. Women's 4x200 meter freestyle relay team that won Olympic gold for the United States. She too is not only fast in the water, but pretty darn smart too. She's studying economics at the University of Georgia and could not be with us this morning. But Colleen and Dan, her parents, are here. If we could have a nice round of applause for them, if they wouldn't mind standing up for us. During our opening ceremonies this morning, you welcomed the Sunflower Ambassadors as they came in, our staff as well. We're going to go ahead and have you enjoy your breakfast, and you'll be able to see some of them on the screens above you. We have another terrific program for you this morning. We appreciate you being here. It's a gold medal start to this school year. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your breakfast. Since I was away for a few weeks, I'll reintroduce myself. I'm John Holt from Fox 4. It's good to be back this year as your MC. Most important for me, a labor of love. I am a parent, a Blue Valley parent, 2 graduates of Blue Valley North High School, well prepared for the path in life that they have chosen. And it's an honor for me to sort of give back and help out. One of the really fun things I do every year, if you've been to this breakfast, you know that I jump on a bus twice a year and go hand out your money with the prize patrol. We stop at schools all over the district and award teachers and counselors grants. And what a thrill that is, especially in these tight times, to be able to make their day and help their kids learn better, faster. We get everything from laughter to tears, and I get the best hugs in the world. It's pretty awesome, man. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to load up the bus again on November 5th, and we could not do it without your support. Whether you're here with a business or you're here just as a parent or a community member, we truly thank you for that support. Here to continue the program is one of the volunteers who helps make the Blue Valley Ed Foundation go. He's been a member of the board since 2010. He is a Blue Valley grad. He's a graduate of the school here in Blue Valley, vice president of Great Western Bank. His wife, by the way, is also a teacher at Sunset Ridge. Very pleased to have join us this morning your Blue Valley Ed Foundation President Jess Adams and our mutual boss, the Executive Director, Ann Blessing. Jess, Ann, the program is yours.
Well, good morning. I am very excited to be here this morning, and as John said, I am a Blue Valley Northwest graduate, and before that an Oxford Middle School Knight, and before that an Oak Hill Hawk. And it's interesting that in a room full of people, my folks, my in-laws, my wife, several people I consider friends, and about 900 people who I look up to and admire, that of all the eyes in the room, the ones I'm most acutely aware of are those of my high school principal and my old high school teachers and coaches, because I just can't shake the feeling that I could still somehow end up in detention, so let's hope I don't screw this up. I'm thrilled to welcome everybody here and very thankful for your overwhelming sponsorship again this year. This is our 22nd breakfast, the 22nd time we've asked the Blue Valley community to go above and beyond in their support for the district through contributions to the Ed Foundation. And once again, you've come through and set another fundraising milestone, raising over $192,000 for the foundation and for the district this year. Your support is appreciated more than you know and needed now more than ever. Let's see. I would like to have 4 groups of people stand and be recognized this morning. First, we have several elected officials and legislators here from the state, county, and city level, as well as United States Senator Jerry Moran. We also had United States Senator Kevin Yoder come by this morning before a previous engagement had to call him away. So for our elected officials, please stand and be recognized. I'd like our Blue Valley Ed Foundation Board of Directors to please stand and be recognized. They're an outstanding group of people, and I kind of think having me up here representing them is like sending the runt of the litter off to the Westminster show, but I'm very proud to be a member of their team. Their efforts help ensure that this event can be the success that it is. Their names are on the back of your program. Please give them a round of applause. A big thank you goes out to the Blue Valley Ed Foundation staff, Cindy McAllister, Laura Harsh, and Ann Blessing, for working all year long to make everything the Ed Foundation does as high quality as the district that we serve. I would also like to thank the business people, parents, building administrators, staff, and Blue Valley NEA for all their support this year. With your help, the foundation has now given away more than $2.4 million to students and teachers in grants, scholarships, and special programs since 1992. Now, Ann and I would like to take a few minutes to recognize our sponsors.
Thank you, Jess. Well, good morning, Blue Valley. Thank you all so much for coming out this morning to help us celebrate our Gold Medal School District and to support the Blue Valley Educational Foundation as we work to ensure educational excellence for every student in Blue Valley. Please direct your attention to the sponsor listings in your program, particularly the table and sustaining sponsors. Please also note that Kansas Gas Service is a table sponsor this year, although they are not listed in your program. As you can see, these companies and individuals are the backbone of our support and are crucial to our success. We truly appreciate your support and presence here this morning. At this time, would you join me in thanking our investing sponsors? They are Black & Veatch Corporation and Menorah Medical Center. Thank you so much.
Finally, we'd like to give special recognition to our presenting and underwriting sponsors whose banners are on display here behind me. First, I'd like to thank and recognize our underwriting sponsors, representing Garmin International, Kira Crossland, and representing Main Street Credit Union, John Beverland. And finally, our presenting sponsors. Representing Capital Federal Savings, Dave Richardson. Representing Durham School Services, David Duke. And representing Shawnee Mission Medical Center, Robin Harold.
The final sponsor that we would like to recognize is our 34 Blue Valley parent organizations. This is 100% participation by our parent organizations. The Blue Valley PTA and PTO groups together provided the largest sponsorship for this event. On behalf of our board of directors, I want to thank all of you for this wonderful show of support. At this time, would all of those who are here this morning representing a school please stand, excuse me, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations. Please join me in one more round of applause for all of our wonderful sponsors. Thank you. Your sponsorship helps fund our teacher and district-wide grants that you will hear more about in Dr. Trigg's speech. I hope you had the opportunity to see the multicultural trunks that were funded by BVEF grants and visit with Bev Craven and Rhonda Hassick in the lobby before breakfast. There are 17 of these wonderful trunks that are available to all the teachers in our district. Our thanks to Bev and Rhonda for being here with us this morning and sharing this valuable resource with us. Thank you. Another important program sponsored by the Foundation is the Sunflower Ambassador Character Education Program that celebrates the 7 Blue Valley virtues. 2012 is the 14th year that the Foundation has sponsored this wonderful program that recognizes a student and staff member in each of our schools for modeling the Blue Valley virtues in everyday life. These ambassadors are selected based on essays written by nominators in each of the schools. The names of the Sunflower Ambassadors and their nominators are listed in your program, and their photos were up on the screens earlier this morning. It is now my honor and privilege to recognize this year's Sunflower Ambassadors. Let's take a look at a few of our ambassador stories on the screens, and while we do, I invite our student Sunflower Ambassadors to come to the stage.
Coach Pritchard makes sure that every student feels like they're just as valued, whether it's on a team or in PE, as anybody else. We have, I think, probably the highest rate of participation in our PE classes because the kids love to be there. And whether they are athletic or not athletic or have their clothes or don't have their clothes, they want to be a part of it, and he encourages that. I would say if you asked 90% of the kids what their favorite class is, it's PE, and it's not just because of the opportunity to be active, it's because of the impact that he makes on them every day.
Every day she's said something nice to me, and we've never gotten in a fight, and I don't think we ever will. There's this girl who, she was running off the soccer field and she skinned her knee, and she walked her to the nurse, and then when she came back she had a card ready for her, and she said, "I'm so sorry that you fell, and I hope you feel better."
Paul is just one of us, you know. He may be older, yeah, but he is funny, he talks to us, he interacts with us, he goes on the North Report, and he's wise, he knows what to say, and he knows not what to say, and it's fun to hear about him and of him. He shows what it is to be a leader, and just what we should look like and be like as we get older, and how we mature. So he's a great example for us as students.
I am Emma Gordon, and this is my brother Will and my mom Lynn. Something that we all share in common is that we are all 3 Sunflower ambassadors. At home, both my mom and dad always are demonstrating the Blue Valley virtues, especially compassion, and I've just learned that it's something that they've shown to me, and I really respect that in them, so I wanted to demonstrate that to others.
So usually what he does is he usually talks to people, and like if somebody's sad, then he might go over to them and say, "What's up? And if you need my help, just let me know and I'll comfort you." And then sometimes, like for the last couple of days, he's been sitting with us because my friend Martin, he's going to be moving back to France soon. I just moved here, so he's trying to say goodbye to Martin and say hello to me, so it's kind of a hard balance because he's just an awesome kid that always goes out of his way to do things that most kids would never do.
What wonderful stories. I would now like to recognize our staff Sunflower Ambassadors. Would all staff Sunflower Ambassadors please stand? And once more, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to present all of our student and staff Sunflower Ambassadors for 2012. Congratulations. The Sunflower Ambassadors were nominated by students and staff members who wrote essays to nominate their peers. And we would like to recognize these very important people as well. Would our staff and student nominators please stand and be recognized? And last but certainly not least, I would like to recognize the parents of our Sunflower Ambassadors and nominators. As we saw in the story about Lynn Gordon, parents are critical and ongoing role models for the Blue Valley virtues. Would all parents of Sunflower Ambassadors and nominators please stand and be recognized? Okay, before we excuse our student Sunflower Ambassadors from the stage, we have a special presentation. Our friends at Technology Group Solutions have donated 2 $125 American Express gift cards as gifts for a lucky student and staff Sunflower Ambassador. I'd like to introduce Butch Clemens, who is the first student Sunflower Ambassador from our newest school, Aubrey Ben Middle. Butch is going to help me draw for a staff and student winner for these generous gift cards. Okay, Butch, I'm going to ask you to draw the name of a student from here. Okay. And the winner is Grant Molenhoff from Blue Valley Northwest. Grant? There he is. Congratulations. Okay, and now, whoops, got to turn that over. Okay, will you draw a staff member? Thank you. Okay, and our staff winner is Jean Lundgren from Oak Hill Elementary School. Congratulations, Jean. The students, you may now return to your seats and enjoy your breakfast. I'd like to give another special thanks to Technology Group Solutions for its generous donation of gift cards for our Sunflower Ambassadors. Before I turn the podium back over to John, I would like to thank the members of the Foundation's Community Relations Committee for their hard work in bringing this breakfast to you today. Their names are listed in your program, and I'm truly grateful to each of them for their support of the Foundation. I especially want to thank my staff members, Laura Harsh and Cindy McAllister, for their hard work, great ideas, long hours, perseverance, and dedication to the Foundation. This breakfast simply would not happen without them. Please join me in thanking them, and I think they're in the back of the room maybe. So I see Laura back there waving and Cindy's back there. Please join me in thanking them for their hard work. John, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Ann. A nice round of applause for Ann, Jess, the board, the great work that they do. Thank you. Congrats to our Sunflower Ambassadors, staff, students, and families. What a proud morning for all of you. And how cool is this? Look at that. That's an Olympic gold medal. That's as close as I will ever come to Olympic gold. People who know me well know I'm pretty good at running at the mouth. That's what I do best, but this is pretty cool. Christy, thanks for letting me have this moment just to hold. Put it. Can I do that? Is that protocol? Oh my. Okay, I'm feeling better about these Olympics now. It's okay. Speaking of gold medals, we're a pretty lucky school district, as you all know. We have a gold medal of a staff, faculty, schools, and it starts at the top with leadership. And that leadership in the form of Dr. Tom Trigg continues to set the pace for school districts, not just in Kansas, but all across the country. Every year we look forward to this sort of State of the District address, and we are again this morning. It's always full of fun humor and great stories, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, Tom. I'm thinking there might be some figures, facts, PowerPoint, graphs, little things that move. It's going to be cool. Please welcome your gold medal superintendent, Dr. Tom Trigg.
Well, thank you, John. This is the 9th year that I've had the privilege of standing before you and delivering what we refer to formally, I suppose, as the State of the District Address. And I can't tell you what an honor and a privilege it is to stand up in front of you and to be able to share these stories and, quite frankly, the documentation that should allow you to feel really, really good about what your kids are doing day in and day out, because they do such a phenomenal job, not only in our classrooms, but in the hallways, just day in and day out. In fact, I want to pause for just a minute with that hallway comment and just talk about our Sunflower Ambassadors just real quickly. I know they've been up here, I know we've recognized them, but let me tell you, Sunflower Ambassadors, we are so proud of you. I mean, you are role models for the rest of your buildings. The way that you conduct yourselves in the classroom, the way that you conduct yourselves on the practice fields, at the debate tournaments, wherever that is, people are looking up to you. And some of you are young enough that you don't realize that. But this recognition, and not only for you that are Sunflower Ambassadors, but you nominators as well, because the courage it takes, you know, and just the creativity to be able to decide, hey, I am going to nominate someone for this award and then write those creative essays. I just want to thank you for all you're doing to impact your buildings each day, each and every day. Let's give them one more round of applause. You know, it was nearly 2 weeks ago that we opened our doors to the 12-13 school year. It's really an exciting time. We take our executive team and we spread out and we put them in each and every one of our 36 facilities, 34 buildings on our CAPS program and our Academy program, so that they can just, you know, watch, observe, be sure everything's running smoothly. They come back and we report in. The excitement and enthusiasm that we hear about on those mornings probably rivals that excitement and enthusiasm of the Olympic opening ceremonies. I'm not sure if the students or the staff, or in some cases parents, are the most excited. But let me tell you, it is an absolute joy to be out and to see what's happening in those schools. One of my assigned schools happened to be the CAPS program this year. And the CAPS program has an exciting new piece to it. When we built that facility, we didn't have enough money to build the entire thing, and so we had what we called shelled space. The second floor, one wing, was unfinished. And through generous donations through the Blue Valley Ed Foundation, through private foundations, through your tax dollars, we've been able to build out that space, and it's an accelerator space. Now, some of you are probably older like me and remember the term incubator space. What an acceleration space is, it's an incubator space but on steroids. And what this space is going to allow our kids to do is to take their inventions, take their ideas, take their creative thinking, their entrepreneurship, and actually have a space in which they can demonstrate, they can test. We have labs in that space. We have meeting rooms in that space. We have presentation areas where we can bring businesses in, where we can bring potential investors in, quite frankly. And these kids are going to knock the socks off of the business community. We have, I believe, 12 or 13 provisional patents already coming out of the students at the CAPS facility, and we think this accelerator is just going to, you know, put us on a trajectory, you know, to double and even triple that. So once again, it's the partnership. It's only with you, the business community, that we're able to fund and to do these kinds of things. In fact, not just talking about the CAPS program, but if you take our entire budget and you look at the amount of money, and I'm talking taxes here, property taxes that are raised by our business community. This is not homeowners. This is our business community. It's over $53 million that goes to educating our kids. So let's give the business community a hand for that. You know, that same energy and excitement that we sense on the first day of school, as I mentioned, really I think is very similar to what we see at the Olympics. And I'm so appreciative of the foundation for using an Olympic theme this year. And most of you are aware that faster, higher, and stronger really is the motto of the Olympics. And I think that could be the motto for our kids here in the Blue Valley School District. Faster, higher, and stronger. Always striving to excel and to achieve a higher standing along their educational journey. You know, you're going to hear today, in addition to that theme, you're going to hear me use the phrase "with you" a number of times, because quite frankly, it's only with you, the business community, with you, the parent community, with you, the community at large, with you, our legislators, that we can do the kinds of things that we can stand up here each year and report these awesome results to you. Now, that "with you" is going to be a really important phrase, because as we close today, we've got a really special treat for you, and I just want you to remember that phrase and maybe note it as I go through the program. You know, any Olympian needs a lot of support. We have the parents here of an Olympian. They need coaching. You know, they need financial support. They need raving fans. They need cheerleaders. And I want to introduce to you now 7 of our greatest supporters. We have a Board of Education in this school district that is absolutely phenomenal. They provide vision for us. They provide leadership for us. It's all volunteerism, and we could not do and could not be who we are without them. So, would you hold your applause until I've introduced all of them? Let me start with our board president, Tony Till, who sends his regrets. He is traveling internationally on business today. Really wishes he could be here. But we have Pam Robinson, our vice president of our board. Would you stand, Pam, wherever you are? Cindy Bowling, Steve Klicka, Sue Matson, Tom Mitchell, and Mike Seitz. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, our Board of Education has a lot of difficult decisions to make, and they have a lot of decisions that impact us as community members. One of the decisions that they made that we talked about a year ago, because they were in the process of sorting through this, was putting a bond referendum in front of our voters. And quite frankly, they worked really, really hard to balance the needs that the school district had with quite frankly, the financial situation the way it is, kind of the end of the recession and all of that, coming out with a plan that had a minimal impact on the mill levy, but yet was going to set us up for the next 5 to 7 years to be successful in terms of our capital improvements program. So they set that bond issue, that bond referendum in front of the public in January of 2012, and I'm happy to report that that $271 million bond issue had 18,000 positive votes and passed by a measure of 62%. Great job, Board of Education. We really appreciate your leadership there. What that's going to do is it's going to provide technology. We're already out piloting some of the newer technologies to see if they're going to have a positive impact on student learning. A lot of reinvestment in our existing facilities. Safety improvements as well, and then we also have an early childhood center and a professional development center that were on that ballot initiative that are underway, and the planning is going full steam ahead on those. You'll begin to see evidence of that in the very, very near future. We also had a customer assessment last fall, and I am pleased to report to you the results of that customer assessment, because quite frankly, we were blown away by the support that you as a community gave the school district. We had 96% that gave the district an A or B, and that was actually up from 91% in 2007. We had 96% that gave the teachers an A or B, which really is the key as far as I'm concerned, because in that classroom is really where the rubber meets the road as far as the student achievement goes. And then 94% actually believe that the quality of the school district positively impacts economic development and property values in the school district, and I believe that's absolutely so. So once again, with you, our vision is that we want to enable each and every child to be more than he or she ever hoped to be. On that same front, we have an educational foundation, and by the way, Jess mentioned $192,000+ raised. That will go a long ways towards helping spark creative grants and innovation and whatever. But we actually have 1,100 people here this morning. Talk about record-breaking. That's 100 more than we've ever had. So thank you so much for your support and having 1,100 people here be a part of this event this morning. It's so awesome. Last year, the foundation supplied a $25,000 grant for our Goal 2, which deals not with the academic side, but with the personal growth side of things. And we want to just show you a short clip to validate how that $25,000 was used as we thank the foundation for that investment in the character of our kids.
At last year's breakfast, we shared the $25,000 grant the Blue Valley Educational Foundation had given to the Education Services Department to help fund projects that directly impact Goal 2 of the district's strategic plan. Here are several of the programs and activities that were funded during the 2011-2012 school year through that grant. At Harmony Elementary, the Girls on the Run Club was started.
Girls on the Run is a running club that teaches us a lot about self-esteem and virtues. It also encourages us to get fit and to feel good about ourselves. We are getting ready for a 5K, and we are preparing ourselves with perseverance, and we are training, like running laps and stuff and counting them and timing ourselves, but we're only racing against ourselves.
The Student Wellness website has been built and is live.
The Student Wellness website is a link on the Blue Valley page that provides information to parents in the Blue Valley community about overall student well-being. We've conceptualized it as healthy minds, healthy choices, healthy bodies, and healthy relationships. We kind of wanted to cover all aspects of a student and a student's well-being.
In November, more than 700 parents and students gathered in the Blue Valley Northwest Performing Arts Center for a presentation of the film Finding Kind.
Finding Kind is a program started by two young ladies from Pepperdine University. They traveled around the nation and talked to several girls, adults, elementary school kids, middle school kids, high school kids. Got some very powerful stories about girl-on-girl bullying, relational aggression, and how girls survive that. We've showed the video a couple different times. We've had a great turnout, very positive response. I'm in the process of starting a Finding Kind group in my school. We're going to have young ladies get together and work through the issues of girl bullying and try to figure out how to tackle that and how to survive the middle school world, and hopefully it'll carry over into high school as well.
Several counselors started programs in their school communities as a direct result of the film. The Rebel program was brought from Blue Valley Northwest to Harmony Middle School.
So Rebel is coming tonight to run our program for the diversity team, and it's our spring outreach program. And again, positive body image for our young people, and not being in any way, shape, or form pushed by the media to be something that they can't really be, and to be themselves and be happy with that, because it makes them better students and they'll be successful, and that's what we want for all of our students.
Let's give the Blue Valley Ed Foundation a hand for their grant. You know, that's just one example of how the foundation supports us. I think in your program today you can see a listing of other types of grants and funding opportunities, the way that they help, you know, our buildings out there. So we're very, very appreciative of the foundation and all that they do. You know, no Olympic journey or educational journey can start without a plan. And we have a strategic plan here in this district. Once again, I give our Board of Education kudos for not only helping us develop that plan, but for holding our feet to the fire and being sure that we remain focused on the things that we have decided are really the absolute most important. You know, our mission in this school district is unprecedented academic success and unparalleled personal growth for each and every student. And we have two goals, and the first of those goals deals with that academic part of our mission statement, that we really believe that we want to improve the academic performance of each and every student. So let me share with you just real quickly a few examples of how that's happening in the school district. First, we had 7 schools this last year that received the Governor's Achievement Award. That's the highest award given out by the state of Kansas. It's all based on the state assessments. We're really, really proud of that designation. And quite frankly, it's very, very difficult for large school districts to kind of crack that barrier. These are pretty much dominated by small rural school districts, quite frankly, but we're really proud of our 7 schools that were able to be named as Governor's Achievement Schools. National Merit Finalists. We had 38 students this last year become National Merit Finalists. National Merit Finalists are kids that are in the upper echelon academically across the country. They have to take a PSAT test and score extremely well to become a semifinalist, and then after that they have to take the SAT to validate their PSAT score. 38 students for us is an absolute record, the most we've ever had. And quite frankly, yesterday we got unofficial results for what I will report to you a year from now. And I'm not going to give you a number, but I'm going to tell you it's faster and higher and stronger and whatever that motto is. We have just knocked the socks off once again with the academics with these kids on this National Merit Test. We're so proud of them. Standard of Excellence. Standard of Excellence is a distinction or a category that once again is designated by the state when you do really, really well in those state assessments. And you not only have to do well in proficiency, but you have to do really well in the top category of that assessment as well, and I'm here to report that on the 2012 Kansas State assessments, every one of our schools received the standard of excellence in reading and in math. The last slide I'm going to show you at this point in the program is another slide dealing with AYP. And you heard me last year stand up here and say for the 9th consecutive year, the Blue Valley School District made AYP at the district level, every building, every grade level, and every subgroup. And you also heard me say that I was very, very concerned that we would not be able to do that for a 10th year, because as you know, the way things were set up by 2014, you have to have 100% of your kids at proficient, and we just keep building upon that. Well, I'm here to tell you that we're 10 for 10. We actually are the only school district in the country, 20,000 students or more, that can make the claim that 10 out of 10 years we've made AYP in all those different categories and those different distinctions. Now, the good news for most of us is we're going to retire as the champion because AYP is going away. And so we're the undisputed, can't be taken away from us, don't have to worry about not making it next year. 10 for 10, the only district in the country. So give your kids a hand. You know, it's one thing to look at scores from a 50,000-foot view. But what I'd like to do now is narrow that down and focus on a single student. Last December, I received an email from a parent, Mr. Maselli, Sam Maselli. And it was one of those emails that, quite frankly, superintendents don't get very often, but when you get it, you just want to cheer and you want to send it out to people. Believe me, I sent it out to the board very, very quickly. But it was the story of his son and his very, very difficult journey and what had made a difference in his life. So we're going to show you just real quickly a little bit of the background and a story about Kyle Maselli.
High school is a life-changing experience. It's 4 years of change and growth that culminate in one moment, graduation. For Kyle Maselli, his high school years were far from the best times of his life.
I think he was a lost soul for a couple years, his first few years of high school.
The thing I remember most about Kyle was that he really struggled. You know, school was just a struggle for him.
And then it just kind of got pretty bad junior year because I got a car and I just stopped going to school.
Kyle's struggles and actions caused his family to question what his future held.
I honestly think I think he was going to be a dropout.
And school wasn't the only place Kyle was struggling. He was also withdrawing at home.
I think he was angry. I think he felt removed, and I know he knew the decisions he was making really didn't fit with what he knew his family wanted from him.
Last year, my dad was on me about my grades and going to school every day, and we would just fight and argue, and we didn't really get along.
Mr. Maselli, he had to use a lot of tough love with Kyle, and you could just tell that he was trying really hard to put pressure on his son to do the right thing, but yet didn't want to lose his son.
Blue Valley West Assistant Principal Cindy Roach knew a change was needed.
Cindy was working with us. She really wanted Kyle to succeed. And she told me about this place, about the academy.
For the Masellis, the academy was Kyle's last chance. Last chance for a future that didn't include dropping out.
I think he just plummeted and needed something really different. What we offer that's really different is our class sizes are small. Our staff wrap around each and every student for what they need because they really get to know them.
Kyle has jumped in both feet to the academy, trusting that they're going to help him succeed.
And with the help of those mentors, Kyle began to see a change.
It's definitely changed. Before, I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to apply myself. I didn't have the motivation. But now I definitely put in more effort, and I can tell in my work and my grades, and the teachers notice.
Over the course of the year, his grades improved. I think he felt like he was really learning information, and he felt like he could do this.
Everybody's taken back. He's talking about school and comes over. He has a smile on his face. He has a positive attitude.
And that change in attitude has made all the difference with the Maselli family.
Once I came here and he saw the huge difference that happened in my grades, he was really impressed with me, and I was impressed with myself, and we definitely get along a whole lot better now. And I understand why he was on me about my grades the whole time.
That difference means a new future for Kyle.
You know, I always saw in Kyle a young man who, if he could get through school, he was going to make it.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. It's all come together. It's all worked out.
The future's really bright for him.
I saw Dr. Calloway out there earlier this morning, and I'm pleased to announce that Kyle is a freshman at Johns County Community College. I know you all will treat him well, and he's not able to be with us this morning. I'm sure he's in class. But his parents are here, and we'd like to recognize them. So Kyle's parents, if you would please stand and be recognized. You know, what we want to do is we want to take every child, whether they're a special needs child, whether they're a struggling learner like Kyle was, whether they're a kid in the middle, whether they're, a high achiever already, it really doesn't matter. What we want to do is set them on a path for success. And we want to be sure that each and every day they see academic improvement. We really believe the way to do that is with a rigorous curriculum. And it's challenging kids. We work really hard with our juniors as they head into their senior year to convince them that their best chance of success in college and in later life is to take a rigorous curriculum their senior year. And quite frankly, I think that's why we see 38 National Merit finalists. I think that's why we see scores the way that we see them, is because our kids continue to challenge themselves. And it takes a lot of counseling, quite frankly, to convince kids that that's what they need to do. And we're working really hard to do that, because we know whether a student is going to choose after high school a 4-year school, a 2-year school, a technical college, whether they're going to go into the military, whether they're going to enter the workforce directly, it's the same skill set that's required for success. And so we really try to impress upon the kids that the absolute necessity of their hard work and achievement. I want to show you a couple more slides just real quickly here that talk about kids after high school. First, let me show you the ACT scores. We just got these scores in last week. I am pleased to announce that our composite score was 24.8. That, quite frankly, is the highest in the Kansas City metro area. It's very competitive on the national scale. Particularly when you consider that over 90% of our kids this year took the ACT test. The greater the percentage of kids that take the test, quite frankly, the lower your score is going to be. And for us to have 90%, 120 more kids took it this year than took it a year ago, and to have maintained that 24.8 is absolutely fabulous. Now, I've talked with our staff members, I've talked with teachers, and I've talked with administrators. Quite frankly, if you look at that graph, we've plateaued a little bit. We had a plateau down there in the low 24s, and a nice move up to the high 24s, 25 one year, and it's time for us to move on. It's time for us to set a new standard and a new plateau. So we're going to be focusing on that, working with our kids, and hopefully a year from now, I can show you evidence of that new incline. I really believe that will happen. The next slide I want to show you is one that's important to us because it talks about the success our kids are having in college. When our kids go away to college, 93% of them that are freshmen go back for their sophomore year. This graph shows in the top bar, I believe that's purple, that where we are, and then the national average is down below that in that orange or red bar. But we feel really, really good about the fact that 93% of our kids go back for that second year. What that tells us is that they were prepared for their freshman year. Now, once again, we're challenging ourselves. That 93% ought to be 100%. And we're going to get there. We're absolutely going to get there. Each and every one of those kids is going to be prepared, and they're going to succeed if we have anything to say about it at all. Then lastly, I want to mention that we had all 5 of our high schools that were named to America's Top 1,000 Public High Schools list that was compiled by Newsweek. There are only 7 high schools in the state of Kansas to receive this designation, and thankfully all 5 of ours were included in that. So let's give those high schools a round of applause as well. Most of you know that I'm a big Jim Collins fan. I really base the leadership style in the Blue Valley School District around good to great and those level 5 principles. I really, really believe in it. A term that Jim Collins uses that's very, very important is hedgehog. And Olympic athletes have hedgehogs. Good school districts have hedgehogs, because a hedgehog is what you're most passionate about and what you believe you can be best in the world at. We believe in Blue Valley, for us, that that's personalized student learning. We want to be sure that each and every student, each and every day, is challenged and personalized in such a way that it's not this mass factory, but they really do feel like they're receiving individual attention and have individual goals that we help them to attain and achieve. One way that we support personalized learning, quite frankly, is through our professional development with our teachers. If you go back and look at when the ascent of our academic scores really began to accelerate and climb, it corresponds exactly with when we started our professional learning communities. When we started getting teachers together on a regular basis to talk about their teaching, to share practices, to analyze data, to work with one another, to collaborate at each and every one of our levels, that's when we saw those test scores start to take off. Now, I realize that sometimes that can be difficult, quite frankly, for some of our parents, because we have to find time to do that. And we have late arrivals for our high schools once a week, where on Thursdays the kids come later so that we can have that collaboration time, that professional learning community time. And at the elementary and middle level, we have early releases a couple times a month. But what I want to do is reassure you that there's a direct correlation between the time that's spent with those teachers analyzing data and those teachers talking about kids and those teachers planning together and the dramatic rises in achievement that you've seen. Our professional learning communities are a key and essential part of what we do in Blue Valley. I want to show you now one example of something that comes out of one of those professional learning communities. We have, once again, from the 50,000-foot view now down to the very personal view, the story of one of our favorite students, a young lady named Maggie.
In high school, students dream of being a part of the team, hanging out with friends, and focusing on the future. For Maggie Meyer to dream, she first had to wake up from her nightmare.
In the back of your mind, you sit there and you wonder, how far can she really go? How much damage has really happened?
She became very tired and went to bed unusually early on a Saturday night for a teenager. The next day, she was pretty non-responsive when we had woke her up, and my wife and I got pretty scared and ran her to the hospital.
Maggie would spend the next 100 days in the hospital, drifting in and out of a coma. What her future would hold remained unknown.
We still didn't know what kind of recovery she was going to make, if it was going to be a partial recovery or a full recovery to where she was before she got sick.
Eventually, Maggie's rehabilitation would no longer be covered by the Myers insurance. Doctors assured the family that returning to school would be the best thing for Maggie to do.
The school district, when we notified them that that was kind of what our doctor was recommending, they were great. They never said, you know, oh my gosh, we can't do this. They were all over it.
When you have a traumatic brain injury, you don't know how long it's going to take to recover, and you don't know if it's going to be recovered.
When Maggie returned to school, she was at a first grade level, and it was not only academically, but also emotionally.
I had to relearn like social skills and like how to act around other people. Like I had to relearn how to talk and walk and eat and all the simple motor skills.
The staff at Blue Valley Northwest were prepared to overcome the challenges together.
The team used each other as resources, used Steve and Margaret, her parents, as resources, along with the hospital and the rehab center, to say, here's the best that we can do for Maggie, and here's what we need to do. And it was really a lot about personalizing the student learning.
We set up an individualized plan for her, and by the second year, she was getting right back into where she had been.
While Maggie's journey wasn't easy, with her determination along with the dedication of the Blue Valley staff, Maggie beat the odds and made a full recovery and graduated from Blue Valley Northwest on time. Through it all, Maggie's experience has helped shape her future.
I think she's thinking now of going into special ed because of the great care that she got from the staff here. That's what she wants to be able to give back, and I think that's just a testament to the staff.
Seeing once I was like that at one point, and like knowing what they're going through and stuff. I just like enjoy working with special education people.
Thanks to the expertise and devotion of the Northwest staff, Maggie and her parents can dream of a bright future.
I'm always grateful for everything that they did for her.
I would say to all the Northwest staff, just like, thank you for everything.
You know, you may have recognized Maggie's story because it actually went national. It went national because of ESPN and I'm sure Fox Sports as well. But that's because Maggie was a basketball player, and you saw a couple pictures there with a beach ball in her room and her shooting a basketball when she was coming out of this coma. And so they did a great job with some national stories on this, but we wanted to show the other side of it. We wanted to show the academic side and the personal growth side to you today. I tell you what touches my heart is the fact that Maggie is a freshman at Benedictine, and she's majoring in special education. And because of that, she wasn't able to be with her today, but her parents, Steve and Margaret, are here, so if they would stand and be recognized. You know, no Olympian excels without a number of challenges. Same with the school district. We have a set of challenges as well, and I want to just take a minute and mention a couple of those. At the federal level, ESEA, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, is going to be reauthorized probably sometime after the first of the year. And we're working very diligently, lobbying, quite frankly, on the Hill to be sure that that ESEA is changed in a way that benefits kids and is not near as bureaucratic as the previous No Child Left Behind Act. I was in Washington, D.C. not too long ago. Senator Moran was gracious enough to visit with me personally, Senator Roberts as well. Went by to see Representative Yoder, who was actually on the floor voting on something at the time, but was able to meet with his staff. Just know that we're doing everything we can to try to influence that bill so that it provides a positive result for us. At the state level, we're seeing a lot change at the state. The whole accreditation model is changing, and that's going to present some challenges to us. This thing called Common Core, you're going to be hearing more and more about. We're in favor of Common Core because it raises standards, it ups the ante, it puts us in a position where it's going to become more challenging for our teachers and our kids, but we like that. I mean, we welcome that change, and so we're working very, very closely with the state as we develop these new Common Core standards. I'd probably be remiss if I didn't take 30 seconds and talk with our legislators that are here today, particularly our state legislators, because we need you. I mean, only with you are we able to have the kinds of results that we have. You know, there was a tax plan that was passed this last spring, and no one really knows the exact result of what that's going to be in terms of revenue for the state of Kansas. I'm not a prognosticator. I can't tell you what's going to happen. But I do know that we're going to continue to need funding, and I do know and believe sincerely that this may give us the very best chance we've had in the last 10 years for local control. And I really want to emphasize to the legislators that are here today and appreciate your willingness to work with us and the other superintendents that happen to be in the room today to see that we get increased measures of local control so that we can control our own destiny. Because that's what the patrons in this community want, that's what you want, and I know the challenge is going to be difficult, but there may just be a window this next year for that to happen. So we stand ready to work with you and work with you diligently. And on that note, I want to mention that I've heard Governor Brownback speak twice within the last 2 to 3 weeks, and both times was very, very encouraged by what I heard him say about education, because he is verbally committed, and he said publicly that he has no intention of cutting education. In fact, he's going to protect education if we do see some kind of a drop before we see an acceleration in revenues. And that's the kind of leadership we need, is that protection and then hopefully local control coupled with that. And then I think we're going to continue to see great results and great things happening. So appreciate any help that you all can give us. I want to go and talk about some specific kids and give them some accolades here. Once again, these are kids that have achieved in just an unbelievable way. We have 8 students, a record number for us, that received perfect ACT or SAT scores during this last year. If you look in your program on page 7 and 8, we actually have a little bit of information on each one of those, and so I'm not going to take the time this morning to go through that. That's there for you to see, but I am going to recognize them. I'm going to ask them, if they're here, some of them are off to college already, to stand as I read their name, and I want their parents to stand as well, because I think we've got it, either student and parents or parents, some combination, that are here with us. I'm going to ask you to hold your applause until I've named all of them, and I'm going to go rather slowly because we're going to put their pictures up on the screen there, because I know you won't be able to see them from where you're sitting. So let's start with Drew Bhagavan from Blue Valley Northwest, perfect ACT score. Go ahead and stand up. Kevin Cow, Blue Valley Northwest, perfect ACT score. Jason Engelmeyer, Blue Valley High, perfect ACT score. Jacob Reinig, Blue Valley North, perfect ACT score. Gavri Schreiber, Blue Valley North Senior, perfect ACT score. Clayton Shuttleworth, Blue Valley North, perfect SAT score. And then our 2 most recent that just received these this summer, Rachel Strokorb, Blue Valley North, perfect ACT, and Asim Zaidi, Blue Valley High School, perfect ACT score. Let's give all of these kids and their parents a round of applause. Next, I have a special guest here today who does my heart good, because we get to talk a little bit about mathematics. Some of you know that I'm a former math teacher, and when we have kids excel in mathematics, it's really exciting to me. Sham Nahayanan is going to be, already is, but is going to be, I believe, one of the greatest mathematicians that this country has ever seen, because as a sophomore in high school, he represented Team USA at the World Math Championships in China. He was a semifinalist already for the USA Biology Olympiad, which is an amazing accomplishment. And then we're actually recognizing him this morning because he was the winner of the 2012 National Who Wants to Be a Mathematician contest. So if he would stand along with his parents, we'd like to recognize him this morning. I've got a feeling he's going to be here a few more breakfasts. No pressure. That's just the way he is. And then lastly, I would like to recognize our presidential scholar. This is almost becoming habit forming. We are so excited to have another presidential scholar. This is the highest recognition that's possible that a student can achieve in the entire United States, being named a U.S. presidential scholar. Tina Way. Tina is a 2012 graduate of Blue Valley North. She was chosen for this honor because of her superior academic and artistic achievements, her leadership qualities, her strong character, and her involvement in community and school activities. Tina is going to be attending Princeton University's Woodrow Wilson Public and International Affairs program this fall, and Tina's here today with her parents, so I would like for the three of them to please stand and be recognized. Tina. The exciting thing for us is that 7 out of the last 9 years we have had a presidential scholar here in Blue Valley. An interesting connection is that each of those 7 students nominated the same teacher to be their ambassador and to go with them to Washington, D.C. to receive this honor. So I want to recognize Michelle Bush, who is the enrichment teacher at Blue Valley North, who was named once again for the 7th time as the most inspirational teacher in the life of a presidential scholar. So Michelle, stand up and be recognized. I want to shift gears really quickly to our second goal, and that is personal growth of students. We've talked about that throughout, but I really want to emphasize here as we bring this to a close, personal growth of our students, because quite frankly, as we put our strategic plan together, parents and community absolutely told us they didn't just want smart kids, but they wanted great kids. They wanted kids of character. And so we've really concentrated on working with the community and working with parents in this idea of personal growth. A lot of that can be shown, I think, through service learning. We had over 190,000 hours this year of community service that was volunteered by our students. Things like American Heart Association, Joplin Schools with their devastation, American Cancer Society, United Way. I could go on and on. Once again, from the 50,000-foot viewpoint, lots and lots of great things going on. Then I'm going to zero in one last time, show you one more video of a young lady who individually is really making a difference in this world.
For as long as Jill Schramm can remember, her daughter Gracie has always been different.
She always has had this just amazing love for music and for other people, like a big heart for other people from the time she was tiny. It's funny, of my 3 kids, she's the one that we say got a double dose of empathy and no sense of humor.
Since I was a little girl, I've always felt the need to give back.
That drive to give back has allowed Gracie to accomplish some amazing things in our community and beyond.
I was 10 at the time, and what caught my attention were these videos and these pictures of these kids who had nothing, and they just seemed so hopeless, and I knew I needed to do something to help them. I knew I had my gift of singing and songwriting, so I thought, what if I could put that together into a CD and sell it to all my friends and hopefully raise $1,000 to build one fish pond.
Gracie's dream of $1,000 to build one fish pond has turned into so much more. Proceeds from her CDs have topped $25,000, providing for 2 fish ponds and a home for 12 orphan boys in Haiti.
I could have never dreamed that it would get this big, that it would take off so well and cause so many amazing experiences since then.
But Gracie's message is about more than giving back. It's about encouraging others to be different, to be kind.
The Blue Valley Ed Foundation sent out an email about Finding Kind, the documentary, and the Kind campaign. Her song is such a good match to this. It's exactly what she was saying when she wrote the song, None of This Really Matters.
Should I try to be popular or who I am inside? What happened to the kindness? What caused this great divide?
Bringing Finding Kind, I think, has made a difference for both students and adults. Having Gracie take a role in that showed a true life, close to home example.
When I perform those songs, I just hope that someone can relate to me and someone can feel like, oh, I'm not alone anymore. I know that this happens to other people and it's not just me.
And Gracie's commitment to helping others does stand out. This spring, she was named one of the top 10 youth volunteers in America through the Prudential Spirit of the Community Awards program.
Just, almost make me cry, but just really proud of her.
Helping every student achieve not only unprecedented academic success, but to also experience unparalleled personal growth is what Blue Valley is all about.
Gracie's put action to her words, and she's made a difference in people's lives.
Having either a teacher or a parent who's like encouraging them to kind of go and spread their wings, I think that that's part of what I feel like this is really working.
Believe in yourself and to know that you can do something and that you can make a change.
I just want to emphasize one last time that it's only with you that we're able to accomplish extraordinary things. It's only with you that we have the support to provide our students exceptional learning environments. It's only with you that we will continue to personalize student learning. And it's only with you and the support of our educational foundation where we can provide the very best possible education in the entire country for each and every student. I'm going to invite Gracie to come up to the stage. This is the treat that I was talking about in the beginning. Gracie is going to sing the song that she wrote entitled With You, and you'll be entertained by that, and also watch the video board as we emphasize the idea that we're all in this together and it's only with you. Gracie.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here, and I just wanted to say thank you all for all that you do. It's so amazing. Here's With You.
Sometimes I feel stuck and I'm caught in the middle. All I know now is I wanna be like you. I feel the pull of the world all around me, and so I turn to you. I wanna see pure, I wanna be holy, but it seems that nobody is like me. I try to fit in, but it just doesn't feel right, and so I turn to you. With you I fit in, you help me be strong. It's through your love that I'm transformed. You're my light in the darkness, my hope when I'm hopeless. I give you my life and I'm living for you now. The change in my heart is the work of the Spirit. Because of your love, my life now has meaning, and so I'll stay with you. With you I fit in, you help me be strong. It's through your love that I'm transformed. You're my light in the darkness, my hope when I'm hopeless. With you I belong. With you you make me strong. With you I fit in, you help me be strong. It's through your love that I'm transformed. You're my light in the darkness, my hope when I'm hopeless. You help me be strong. It's through your love that I'm transformed. You're my light in the darkness, my hope when I'm hopeless. You help me be strong.
Gracie, obviously we're really proud of you. We're going to have a great school year, and I'm going to turn it over to John for a close. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Tom, thank you. Gracie, thank you for sharing your talents with us, and it's always fun to see the achievement. He always saves the best for last, doesn't he? Terrific work here in the Blue Valley School District. Christy, I think she deserves, listen, gold's at $1,600 an ounce right now. You don't want me hanging on to this. Where's Gracie? Come here, young lady. How about that? How about a nice round of applause for Gracie? A big hug there. It was a gold medal performance and a gold medal school year. We're off to a great start. Dr. Trigg, thank you for sharing the good news. 10 out of 10. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you all for being here. Gracie, by the way, is heading back. She'll have a table out back. You can stop and visit with her about her important work, which continues. Our work continues. I like talking about good news every night, so let's go forth and have a great school year and bring it back here next year and have more good news. Thank you for your support. We set a gold medal record. I've never been a part of something like that. That's pretty cool, too. Have a great day, have a great school year, and thank you for your support.